Hello, my name is Eric Hawkins and I'm the horn instructor here at Georgia State University. This is the GMEA 2024-2025 concert band Lyrical Etude for the All-State auditions for the first and second rounds. This is quite an interesting etude. There are a lot of great things about it. You should know that it's a small excerpt from a much larger etude by Oscar Franz from his 10 Grand Concert Studies. The larger etude is in what we call a ternary form. And in a ternary form, usually we have an A section, a B section, and then the A section returns again. In this case, the A sections are both faster sections, and then the B section in the middle is a much slower, more lyrical section. And this is an excerpt from that slow lyrical B section. One thing that I would take note of in this etude is the fact that most of it is at a piano dynamic, and we don't want a weak piano sound. We want our piano dynamic to be nice and supported with a nice full soloistic sound. So you don't have to be scared to play the first few notes here at the beginning. As long as you have a good breath and a good feel of where you want your phrase to go, then you'll be all right. I would definitely make use of a 2-bar phrase for most of this etude. You can see from the first 2 bars that these phrases call for a nice climactic point. So you can really take advantage of that for most of these phrases. What I would encourage you to do in this etude is take note of measures 8 and measure 16. You have dotted half notes that come at the ends of the phrases, and I would encourage you not to decay too much on those just because there are no diminuendos written. So you really want to make sure that you have consistent dynamic all the way through the long notes, just so that you keep consistent with the ink on the page. Also note that at the very end of the etude, it's going to be very tempting to put a ritardando to show your creative side. However, there's no ritardando written. I think it's okay to put a little bit of something at the very end to slow the phrase down, but nothing too drastic. You want to make sure that you're following as close as possible to what's written on the page. Now, there's quite a few accidentals in this etude as well. It's going to be really important, especially during the chromatic runs, that you really connect your air all the way through the notes, as well as in moments like measure 4, where this accidental falls on a downbeat and then resolves to a harmonic tone. You really want to lean into that moment and make sure that that F sharp gets a lot of love before it resolves to the G. Same thing for these chromatic non-harmonic tones that you see in measure 9 and in measure 15. You really want to make sure that you're connecting your air through them and that you show the judges that these are not accidents that you're playing. These really are intentional chromatic non-harmonic tones. And finally, you really just want to make sure that this etude is something that you can replicate by singing all the time. It even says in the instructions at the beginning of the etude, slowly with a singing quality. So I would take the time to make sure that you're getting practice singing this with your actual voice every single day. And maybe even as an added bonus, you can do the same thing on the mouthpiece. Play on the mouthpiece with a nice singing quality, and therefore you can replicate the same intervals a lot more easily once you play it on the horn. One other thing to keep in mind is that you have to play over 2 octaves worth of material here, which is the widest range in any of these etudes this year. I would try to avoid any large embouchure resetting when you go into the different registers of this etude. Try your best to keep your embouchure set around this middle G, second line G, and hopefully you'll find more success being able to navigate through the different registers very quickly. I hope you found this video helpful. If you'd like additional guidance with the GMEA All-State audition material, please feel free to reach out to me for a one-on-one session. This video was brought to you by the Georgia State University School of Music and coffee. Thanks, everybody. We only use natural, non-GMO, grass-fed horns here.